him in 4 consecutive matches. How's he holding up mentally, never mind physically? Because he's had a rough couple of goes last time out. Can he bounce back when you need him to right now?
Well, I definitely had a talk with Marshall, in between his matches, just telling him to, clear his head, forget about the last match, stay focused, stay in the moment. That's the big thing. And I believe in his talent. He's one of the most talented bowlers in the States. And, he has lost 2 in a row, but, if you get up there and you make 10 good shots, I believe the result's going to come out really good.
Well, we saw Martin Larsen in partnership with Stuart Williams up against Kent and Sean Rash. As a combination, they had a terrible, terrible time bowling sub 200. They managed to pull out of their slump. I guess when you're a world-class player in any sport, you're never in a slump for very long. So it's surely not going to take too much. Just a couple of good pocket hits, a couple of strikes, and he'll be right back in business. Yeah,
very good point. All these guys are so talented, and like they said, the Europeans made a little bit of a lane adjustment. Seeing the lanes a little bit different. See Marshall, I believe, has made a ball change to one ball that hasn't went down the lane yet. So it'd be interesting to see the adjustment he makes going into this match.
Yes, and we're actually on the second game bowled on this lane dressing, so it's bowling on the burn, as they say.
And if ever a man needed a good positive start, it's Marshall Kent. What's he going to come up with? Oh, no! Oh, that is a really ominous sign for this man.
The first sign of loft from any player in the tournament so far. Lofts it out through the arrows, but it's flashed through the face of the number 1 pin. Obviously 6, 7, 10, big split.
Loft is definitely something that Marshall likes to do. It could just be first shot jitters with the loft. We can see if that pays off throughout the match.
Well, it's an open frame. It's come early, so he's got time to silence the cheerleaders, or is that an ABBA tribute band? I'm not sure. Either way, Martin Larsen will be focusing on one thing only, the 10 pins at the other end of the lane. And when your opponent goes open, you have to strike to really rub his face in it. He doesn't. He takes 9, leaves a solid 10 in the corner.
Yeah, just testing the water out that shot, I think. Made the pocket, didn't have as much drive, or yeah, it's just a little bit light in the pocket, and that's why the 10 pins can stand in the 6 pin laid in the channel.
Very nice spare conversion. I feel like that first frame, no matter if you've bowled the match before, can always be a little bit of a doozy. Just getting the first shot jitters out of the way. So see if Marshall can bounce back here with a good shot in the second.
Yeah, this is the shot I think that is going to tell us a lot about this match. Was that just one of those things that happens to everybody, or is that a sign of continuing deterioration in his game? As you say, Kyle, he really needs a good, solid pocket hit here. Take all 10, get back in business, just like that.
Very good shot from Marshall.
Yeah, certainly much better. Yeah, a little bit of loft as well, just to get it down lane before it starts picking up into a hook and a roll.
Yeah, that loft definitely shows what the transition of the lane pattern this year. The 2 players we added have quite a bit of rev rate. So it's just really interesting to see how fast the front part of the lane breaks down in just one match.
Well, it certainly has been, yeah, especially under these TV lights and the heat in the Metrodome here.
Martin's out the pocket and is very fortunate to leave 1.
Yes, it looked as though it was hooking up well early, didn't it? It broke everything up just about, got the 10 pin out. It's a big reaction in the back end there, straight through the number 1 pin.
That could so easily have been a split. Got away with one there, Martin.
He's lucky, Larsen.
Yeah, but the pins have a very good memory. They won't forget that. So it looks, Kyle, as if that open frame hasn't done too much damage.
Yeah, as long as we can continue to make good shots. The first frame, like I said, if you're going to have an open frame, especially in this scoring system, it would be best to have it in the first frame. So bounce back with another good shot and keep a 1 pin lead in the match.
And a strike here would do Marshall the world of good. Looking for 2 in a row.
I would say he is dialed in this match now. He's made the correct adjustment. That ball was a good 3 or 4 more boards to the right from the one before, so he may have found a little bit of area with the loft trick added in.
Yes, certainly lofting that a good 8 feet down the lane before it touches, doesn't he?
Well, it's finding something that works, whatever it is. And right now it's working for Marshall. And as you say, Kyle, really dialed in, 100% focused on this. Big point, this. Larsen doesn't get the luck this time. See, it does balance out.
Yeah, 3 single pins off 3, well, near pocket shots.
And like to quote Martin, been around him for a few days this week. Unlucky.
Well, Martin's been very lucky with the Weber Cup. The 5 appearances that he's made. This is the 6th one, and we're hoping that perhaps, or he's hoping that that can continue.
5 appearances, Cass, never on the losing side.
He's so lucky.
Yeah, you, of course, Kyle, have been here. How on earth do you prepare teammates who've never been in this environment for something like this? Because it's unique in the business, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very unique. You know, the atmosphere and the environment is one of a kind. If I had to relate it, if we had any event to relate it to, I would say the PBA League in Maine would be about one of the only environments that we see similar reactions. But you know, they've just got to believe in themselves, believe in their talents. You know, stay focused on the shot at hand. You know, keep it simple. 10 good shots in one game, and hopefully come out with the win.
Another big loft there from Marshall Kent. He's ripped the rack and he's carried another 10. 3 strikes in a row at 30 pins a time.
Nice to see a little bit of emotion coming out of Marshall after a little bit of a tough match the last 2 matches. So seems like he's settled back in.
And somehow it's not a shock. These players, all of them, are so good. If they hit a slump, it won't be long before they pull themselves out of it. So Larsen's just got to try and stick around now. Take all 10 like that.
Much better shot.
Yeah, just keeps it at 12 pins with that great looking strike from Larsen.
Seems like he has moved a little further left, increased the rotation on the ball, get it to go through the pins a little bit better.
Some players are front runners. They like to lead. Others like to be tucked in, waiting to pounce. Right now, it's Kent that's got the slender advantage, looking to keep it here. Oh, he really is on fire now. Well, all those doubts that we had about him going into this match, we can erase them.
Just like a flip of the switch.
Absolutely, what a turnaround in Marshall Kent. 4 great looking shots, 4 great looking strikes, and the man's full of confidence now.
Well, you knew that when he left that split there was going to be a reaction one way or the other. He was either going to come out and really just batter this lane, or he was going to just go into his shell. It's good to see that it's the former for him, and he's making Larsen try and strike, and every time Martin leaves a pin standing, that gap is going to grow.
Yeah, I don't know, that's just maybe a little bit low on speed on that shot. It just looked up a little bit too early, but Kent is the man of the moment with all those strikes. There you see the amount of oil that's coming off this lane onto these guys' bowling balls. Great big band of oil around the circumference of the ball.
Now, some guys are meticulous in cleaning that oil off. Others are quite happy to leave it there. What's the difference, Kyle?
I mean, I've always been taught, you know, you want to wipe the oil off the ball every shot. Quote, the bow ties where the oil crosses. You know, if you do not take the oil off the ball, I feel like, you know, it can add an extra foot of length before the ball hooks. You know, that's what my coach has always taught me. And, you know, for two-handers, you know, we definitely want to wipe the oil off so we can hang on to the ball better. But, yeah, I believe wiping the oil off gives it a more consistent ball reaction.
Speaking of consistency, this guy's been right on the money.
Well, this lofting mode that he's picked up from frame number 2 is certainly paying dividends, Carl.
Yeah, if I had to pick one player, you know, in the States or pretty much anywhere in the game right now, you know, Marshall Kent is probably one of the best in the world at lofting. he has definitely put on several lofting clinics back in the States before, so this is nothing new for him.
Oh, he's putting another one on right here, isn't he? And all this, remember, as he started with a split and an open frame off a bad first ball as well. It wasn't a bit of bad luck that he got, but what a response.
Have a ball change here for Martin. See if it's the right adjustment.
And Martin's problem has just been carrying all 10, and that problem continues.
Yes, he's gone from the 10 pin with the ball change, which went just a fraction longer, and has now left the 7 pin. So he's still got some work to do. This is spare number 5 out of 6.
Well, the difference is Martin is sparing. Marshall is striking. 5 spares for the Swede. 5 strikes in a row for Marshall Kent, so the gap just keeps on growing. And just remember that lead the Americans have here built off an open frame right at the start. He has been flawless ever since.
Yeah, it's a big 34 pin deficit that Martin's got. And Marshall is absolutely locked and loaded on this 1-3 pocket right now with the line he's throwing.
Oh, that's a very big momentum swing right there. You know, even being on a 5 in a row, you know, that was definitely a little further left down lane. So to catch that 4 pin, that's really going to give him a little bit of confidence coming down the stretch in this match.
Yeah, just the luckiest strike that he's got so far, but it still counts.
Early days in the Weber Cup, and still early days in this match. We can't say it's all over yet, but what a difference it would be for the Americans to go into the break 8-6 up rather than tied at 7 apiece, and 8-6 is what it is looking like now.
Yeah, that would definitely be a huge momentum for us, especially, you know, coming out strong at the beginning of this session. They would have put a little bit of a damper if we would have ended up losing the session. So I believe Marshall knew the significance of this match, and you know, he seems to be bringing his A game.
Would Sean Kent have said anything? Would Sean Rash have said anything to Marshall Kent between matches when he came into this one, seemingly in such a low ebb? Would he have said anything, or would he have just left the player alone?
Well, I believe, you know, like I said, you know, I spoke to Marshall. I believe Sean, you know, said the same thing, just to, you know, to clear his mind. You know, obviously, Rash probably had a suggestion, you know, on a ball change. You know, they probably worked together, and you know, it seems like the ball change has helped. And you know, just stay in the moment. You know, that's something that we always try and do, no matter what had happened in the past.
Well, the past is another country for Marshall Kent right now. That is a 7-bagger he's put together.
And a little smile there as well. How about that? That's great to see.
Been a little while since we had one of those from Marshall. Good to see.
Yeah, it really is back with a vengeance. There's none of these players. If they're in a slump, you better catch them when they're in a slump and knock them off, because nobody's staying in a slump for long.
And he's made it look so easy, hasn't he? He's just changed the ball, lofted it to the right, and carried everything.
Yeah, strike for Lucky Larsen. There he is.
It's amazing, isn't it? The strikes always come when it's too late.
Yes, indeed. Lots and lots of spares for Martin. 9 spares he's had, and only 2 strikes. Not really much you can say about that, Martin.
No, it's all over, isn't it?
Yeah, big game coming, big score coming here for Marshall.
What do you do in the intermission? You've got a couple of hours off, Kyle, as we just look at another ball. When the streak finally ends, but do you just forget bowling? Do you just get away from the venue, or do you talk tactics? Do you talk about bowling and adjustments that you need to make?
Yesterday, you know, we left the venue and grabbed some lunch. I believe today we're going to order from this fine facility, and you know, just kind of regroup, you know, de-stress for a minute, you know, enjoy our meals, and probably get back into bowling mode, so to speak. Yeah, as we get closer to tonight's session, probably discuss the oil patterns. We get the choice of pattern tonight, so that'll be a big decision we'll probably figure out during lunch. But during the break, definitely just relax and de-stress is the big thing.
Well, Martin's looking relaxed because it's easy to relax when there's nothing you can do about it. Oh, look at that. He's really, I mean, he has not lived up to his nickname today. There's no doubt about that.
7 9s. Sean sees the funny side of it.
Well, every bowler in the business has been there.
This will be a huge confidence boost for Marshall, going into tonight's session. If he would have lost 3 in a row, knowing Marshall, being a very emotional guy, that could have probably put a little damper on him. But now that he's come out, won this match, got the USA in 8-6 lead, I believe he's going to be ready to come out fire in tonight's session.
And he's had to really carry a heavy load. He deserved that. He really did deserve that. A 268. That's how you sign off 4 matches in a row. Well, his captain asked a lot of him. And whilst he hasn't won 4, he's certainly pulled himself out of a bad place and has finished on a spectacular high. A 268 for Marshall Kent. Point number 8 for Team USA. And that sums up Martin's afternoon.
Yeah, I wonder what he's... this is a number he won't be picking in the lottery tonight. Number 9.
Yeah, I think he needs a little more work in the gym then, just to carry those corner pins. That seems to be the message. I tell you, Sean Rash is delighted that all those corner pins have sat there for Martin Larsen. That has turned out to be a pretty easy one in the end for USA. They and Marshall Kent are back. Kyle Troop, thank you very much for joining us. We will see you this evening. And the balance has turned again. The USA win the session 4-3, just as they did last night. They take an overall lead of 8-6 in this race to 19. We'll be back with some thoughts from the guys in just